LSU, no, they ain't ready for the LSU, huh? They ain't ready for the LSU, no, they ain't ready for the LSU. We the best in the league if you looking for
Zach, we're live.
Hard, but we beat Alabama.
Not run the intro.
Drown the Gators.
You didn't run the intro.
When we step in the stadium, this is the LSU anthem. You know it's a hit. You don't know another rapper two-step like this. See me screaming out the window, yelling purple and gold. I'm an LSU fan, girl. You know how we roll now. Back and back it on.
What the heck just happened?
Back and back it on up. Hey, back
All right.
and back it on up. Hey, back and back it on up. Hey.
T.A. We're live. Having some technical difficulties, obviously. I mean, I thought in the middle of the intro we were live and we were just sitting there. So sorry, y'all. But anyways, welcome to the show. Welcome to Tigers Avenue. We got a great show, Zach. We have another guest coming on tonight, another transfer that Jay Johnson has landed. Obviously, last week we talked to Jack Pineda, and this week we're really pumped to have Dylan from Creighton, Tebrake. Again, we're probably going to have to ask him again for some clarification on that. But we're really pumped to have him on. But, hey, guys, right here, right now, 6 o'clock, well, it's 6:02 now, Jackson Howard is going to be announcing his commitment, and we want to get a little bit of a live reaction to that. We want to get a live look in on that. Zach's going to bring that up for us, and we're going to watch that, and obviously we're going to give you our reaction, our thoughts to wherever his decision is. And then we're going to discuss some LSU football recruiting. You know, there's been a lot of hubbub, a lot of reaction, and maybe a little bit of overreacting from LSU fans here of late. Zach, you got that ready to roll, or is he on?
I've got it ready to roll. I'm not sure if he is committing yet. We have 247 talking right now, so we'll bring it up as soon as we see Jackson Howard in the frame.
Okay, absolutely. So, Zach, I mean, we saw it this past week. Derek Williams, you know, kind of the top safety in Louisiana. I mean, he's the number 2 guy behind Arch Manning, obviously, in the state of Louisiana. He announces his commitment to the Texas Longhorns, and boy, oh boy, the state of Louisiana and LSU fans, the sky was falling, right? The sky was falling. Everything was melting. The world's ending. What is LSU going to do, right? I mean, Zach, are they overreacting a little bit? What are your thoughts on Derek Williams being a Longhorn?
So I got to say this. First off, I believe there is way too much Chicken Little going on right now. The sky is falling. The sky is falling. Guys, come on. The sad thing about fans is that we fear the unknown, and we are prisoners of the moment. And so whatever is happening in the moment, we are going to react to what is happening in the moment.
Philosophical. Good.
I know, right?
Man,
and,
philanthropist over here.
And so, like, you know, obviously not getting Derek Williams, it sucks. It sucks. Absolutely. I will sympathize with the fans in the feeling that, you know, you didn't get a top-tier talent out of the state. But I have the mentality to trust BK and know what he's doing.
Yep.
You still have guys on the board. You still have guys that they are targeting at safety. And you already have 2 safeties committed in the class, Ryan Yates and Michael Daughtry, the king. And
yep.
I don't know if you saw it, Reagan, but we posted on our Twitter, and Ryan Yates came underneath it and said, you know, where's the love at? Where's the faith? You got to trust that BK and these coaches have done their evaluation, and they're going to bring in guys that can play. And Ryan Yates can play. He's 6'2". He's a pterodactyl. I mean, dude is going to ball out. Dude's going to ball out. We should not be upset over somebody that wants to leave the state. Let them leave the state. And another reality is, guess what, Reagan? This happens every year. You are not going to get all of the 5 stars in the state. You're not. It's extremely rare. It is extremely rare if you get all of the 5 stars in the state. You didn't get Arch Manning. I think I saw more people freaking out over Derek Williams than getting Arch Manning. Now, I have my own opinions about Arch Manning. I think he's probably the 3rd best quarterback in the state. But, I mean, he's a Manning. You would think there would be a huge just blow up because he committed to Texas, but there was more of a blow up over Derek Williams committing.
Yeah.
You've already got 2 guys in the class, and you're also targeting Kylan Jackson out of Zachary and Amir, I'm forgetting his last name. He's out of Pennsylvania, both of which are 4-stars and highly rated. This does not need to be a huge concern.
No, we're over. I mean, I feel like it's almost typical of fans to overreact. So, I mean, it is what it is. But look, guys, we're in a different age as well, a different time.
Oh, here we go, Reagan. Here we go. It is. He is. I'm sorry to cut you off. He's making his decision now. Let's go to that.
Let's get a live look into it. All right, they're bringing him in. So we can still talk, right, Zach? We can still discuss.
Yes.
All right, so it looks like they're bringing it to the table, guys. Jackson Howard, big time edge, number 1 player in Minnesota. Down to Zach, correct me if I'm wrong. Well, I think the list is there. It's Miami, Minnesota, LSU, and Michigan. Is that correct?
And from what I've heard, this is going to be a LSU Miami decision.
Multiple crystal balls for LSU. Multiple crystal balls.
Yes, multiple crystal balls for LSU. I would be shocked to see him go elsewhere. But Miami has made a push. And, again, I'd be shocked to see him go elsewhere. But I'm hoping he chooses the Tigers. I'm confident he's going to choose the Tigers.
Here we go. Out, I guess. They'll bring it in. You know, they always got to talk this stuff up. I think he
wants to read something. Let's listen.
I can't quite hear it, but.
And all my siblings and my extended family who are in the crowd as well, and not here right now. It's been a long journey. I also want to thank my high school football coaches and baseball coaches, also track as well, for all the time and energy that they've poured into me over the years. 12 years on this football field at Cooper High School has prepared me for this day. And I want to thank my youth coaches, my coaches from all the sports.
Zach, last second prediction. Is he a Tiger?
My growth.
Is he a Tiger?
My teachers and staff from elementary school all the way through high school. And,
I'm going to say he's a Tiger.
I want to thank my Crystal, New Hope, Plymouth, the Romulus community. Special thanks goes to game-based training, just for helping me be a better player and helping produce me as well. I want to give a thanks to Coach Anthony Garnett for believing in me and showing something special in me for sure, and advocating for my talent through 8th and 9th grade, which really led to my first offer. Big thanks to him. And then last but not least, I want to thank my teammates. We've gone through battles together. We push each other, and we hold each other accountable. You all helped me get this position. Now it's the time that I transition from the high school player to commit to the college that I'll be attending. So with that being said, I will be committed to LSU.
Let's go!
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. He is a Tiger. He's a Tiger indeed. All right, Zach, you backing that, whatever that is, out? Honestly, don't know what that is, but I guess it was just a screen mirror thing.
So, like we predicted, he's a Tiger.
He is a Tiger. The sky is falling. The sky is falling. Number 1 player out of Minnesota, Jackson Howard, is committing to the Tigers. BK rolls him in, reels him in. Okay. Look, so back to what I was saying, though. I mean, this is a prime example. Jackson Howard, here we are. He's a Tiger, right? Top, one of the top, edge guys in the class. I mean, I'm pulling up his thing here now just to give you the numbers. Top 100 guy. Obviously, he's the number 1 player in Minnesota, as I've already said. The 11 ranked edge player in the country. I mean, big time talent that BK just rolled in.
And he has also played tight end, which we know is a huge position of need for LSU. And you already got Mac Markway. I mean, I know he wants to be an edge rusher, but the defensive line at LSU is stacked. And so if he needs to make the transition and go play tight end, he could fill a huge position of need for the Tigers. So this is a win-win for the Tigers at both offensive and defensive teams.
Yeah, absolutely. So kind of back to what we were saying right before the commitment there, so glad he's chose the Tigers. I think we kind of had an insight into that. But Derek Williams, like you said, we've got safeties in line, and it's a new age. It's a different time. We can't melt down over players going to Texas, going to Texas A&M, Bama, whoever it may be, because that is NIL, right? I mean, look, guys, if there's money on the table and LSU hasn't matched it, I mean, it is what it is, right? Or if they can't match it, it is what it is. So be it. There goes Derek Williams. But you got two guys that are great. You got two guys in the class already. As Zach said, we're targeting another. And that commitment there with Jackson Howard is one of many more to come, right? We can't overreact and act like one player going out of state is ruining this class. And I mean, look, guys, I understand that, we want to recruit the state of Louisiana. Brian Kelly has put a staff together to try to hone in on the state of Louisiana, and I think he's going to. I mean, you got guys like Shelton Sampson who are being crystal balled to LSU. I mean, top receiver in the state, top receiver in the country, right? So you're going to get your guys out of the state. I mean, let's not be so quick to forget last year in a transition year. You still landed guys like Will Campbell, Walker Howard, right? I mean, let's not jump the gun here and act like the world is coming to an end for LSU because one safety left the state. And yes, it hurts. Yes, it stinks. But you cannot have the expectation that you are going to get every single guy. And let's look. We've mentioned Shelton Sampson. If you look into this class's year, you're probably going to land Lance Hurd too, another guy who's been getting crystal balled to LSU, a top guy in the state, a top offensive lineman in the country, and he played on the opposite end of Will Campbell, who you landed last year. So yes, they're overreacting for sure. They're overreacting, and we also need to think not only of NIL, but you also have the transfer portal, okay? If you just miss, right? If you miss, it's a different day and age. You can go to the portal and put it back together. We know this. Why do we have this short-term memory loss all of a sudden? we forget what he was able to do in the state of Louisiana within a few months of being here, and we forget what he built back together. Our roster was in shambles now through the transfer portal. He's put it back together. I mean, good grief. I think all of our defensive backs are from the transfer portal this coming year. So we can't jump the gun into thinking the world's falling apart when there's other options out there. And you have guys in that position already committed. You're targeting other guys. There's the transfer portal. Way overthinking it, Zach. I mean, and that's my opinion on the whole Derek Williams thing is like you said, we're kind of prisoners to the moment, and that's how it feels. We can't predict the future of what's going to happen. So I get the overreaction a little bit, but LSU is going to be just fine. Another
thing that fans need to consider is football teams are going to prioritize certain guys, and maybe LSU didn't have Derek Williams as much of a priority as another guy. Maybe not necessarily a safety, but maybe a different position group player. Whereas Texas may have placed a high priority on him. Yeah. Now, I'm not saying I know this for a fact, because obviously you want to get the top guys in the state. Okay, that's obvious. We know that. I'm not, trying to be act dumb here, but we also have to realize that LSU is going to target position needs, and certain positions may not be as much of a priority. At safety, it may not be much of a priority. You've got a ton of guys at safety. Yeah. And you got two guys already you've got two guys in the class already, and you have two other targets. It is not I get it. I 100% get it. You missed out on a massive, massive player out of the state of Louisiana. But again, it is going to happen. It has happened. It is going to continue to happen, even if Brian Kelly and them are winning natties, right? We remember this. Do we not remember 2019? LSU's having the best season of their entire history, and they miss out on Rakeem Jarrett, and he goes to Maryland. Like, let's not be dumb. We have to realize that this is going to happen. It's going to continue to happen no matter what. It was happening before NIL. It's going to happen even more with NIL.
And I think some of the arguments are kind of, I don't know what the word is, maybe irrelevant or maybe, anyways, I'm not exactly sure the word is, but when you look at this year's Louisiana class, like when you think of Arch Manning, like, is he really a Louisiana kid? Like, is he really a Louisiana, like, prospect? I understand, like, he's in the state of Louisiana, but that's a type of guy, right? He's got Manning attached to the last of his name, and his last name is Manning. And you know, of course, Eli played at Ole Miss, Peyton played at Tennessee, right? They're there because Arch, you know, wound up in New Orleans, and they've stuck around, right? And Cooper and them have stuck around in there, right? So it's not like he has this. There's some kids like Will Campbell, like, you know, Walker Howard from last year, who they grew up in Louisiana, and Louisiana means something more to them, right?
Correct.
And I'm not saying Louisiana doesn't mean anything to Arch Manning, but there's a reality that kid isn't, you know, Louisiana to his roots. Some of these guys are Louisiana to their roots. The reality is the history of his family. Archie Manning wound up in New Orleans Saints for so many years, and that's why they've been there for so long. Just because Archie, his grandfather, played for the New Orleans Saints, which Archie was an Ole Miss Rebel, and then Eli was, and then Peyton was a volunteer. So it's not like this kid is a true Louisiana prospect. So people are like, oh, we missed on Arch. We've missed on Derek Williams. Kurt Tack, whatever his name is. Curtis. Yes, Curtis Tackett seems to be headed to Ohio State. Some of these guys, even with the previous staff, didn't seem to be LSU leans. So this is not a Brian Kelly problem. These guys were not even committed to the previous staff. This isn't like an issue of the current staff. I think this is just the reality of who these players are. Now, you think of guys like Lance Hurd, kind of born-bred Louisiana player, seems like he's on his way to LSU, honestly. And, I mean, he was the MVP of the camp, played alongside Will Campbell. There's crystal balls coming in for Lance Hurd. Like, we can't melt down over this like this. And so we need to keep our heads straight and trust that BK is going to take care of business. I mean, sorry, I'm hearing my son scream mama in the background. I'm hearing mama, mama, mama.
He's reacting like the fans are.
Mama, mama, mama. So here's the thing. I lost my train of thought. I'm sorry. But Brian Kelly was at Notre Dame and did what he did at Notre Dame for so many years. He's not just coming like a guy at his age doesn't make this transition to come here and slack off, right? Like, he's going to want to put great classes together. He's going to want to recruit at the highest level. He's wanting to win a national championship. Like, he's not just here slacking off. So I don't understand the overreaction of one player. I mean, literally one player. One. I mean, you got to think with a straight head. You didn't really think Arch Manning was coming to LSU, right? Like, so one player you lose from the state of Louisiana, and last year in a transition year, you lose a few receivers to Alabama. I mean, that's out of your hands. I mean, Aaron Anderson was LSU commit all the way, and we found out afterwards that he told Ed Orgeron if he was gone, he was going to Bama, and that's what happened.
Yeah.
So take a deep breath, LSU fans. Jackson Howard just committed to LSU. And after all these meltdowns started happening, boy, oh boy, crystal ball, Tavion Galloway, Caleb Jackson, Joshua Mickens, Lance Hurd, Deshaun Womack, who I think, in my opinion, is one of the best players in this entire class. I mean, he's a top. I think he's a top 100 guy. He's 106. I think Womack is underrated at 106. You know, there's a guy like Xavier Atkins who looks to be a flip from Missouri. Jeremiah, and there's
Darren
more
Reed.
coming. Darren Reed. There's a Blake like to call it a storm, but there is plenty of guys out there that are getting LSU crystal balls. Like Brian Kelly ain't over there sleeping. Okay, so let's take a chill pill. They're flying in left and right. Okay, and Jackson Hurd had 4 crystal balls tonight. Comes to the table, thanks everybody that he has put up with his entire life, who's invested in him, and he puts the Tigers on his head, right? It's going to keep happening. Just be patient, okay? All right, Zach. I think we've talked about enough. Yeah, we can get to some comments. We're 23 minutes in, and then we'll transition here to Boy, what Jay Johnson continues to do.
Rob Boudreaux. Hello, guys. Listening here my last night at the beach in 30A. Hey, Rob, appreciate you tuning in. Hope you've enjoyed the beach. That's awesome. I wish I was at the beach right now. That'd be
not a beach
nice.
guy. Not a beach guy.
Reagan's not a beach guy. I enjoy it. Are you like more like a cabin guy?
Absolutely. Take me to
Cabin,
Gatlinburg,
up in the mountains.
Pigeon
You know,
Forge.
stay inside, get you some hot chocolate, some chili.
I kind of like doing the kayak thing. Like I like getting on the river, staying in a cabin, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Beach. Here's the 3 S's. It's sandy, it's salty, and it's sunny. And none of those mix with Reagan very well. All 3 of those in one setting. It just ain't for me.
We got a Zeke appearance. He needs to say, "Hold
Zeke's
that tiger."
Who are you talking to?
Hey, Jackson Howard just committed. Can you say "Go Tigers"?
Go Tigers!
Go Tigers!
Go Tigers!
All right, he's coming to get his dinner. That's what he's doing. Go eat your food, bud. All right, got a Zeke show in there. Any other comments we get to?
Chris English, I popped this up earlier, but he said that's one of many.
Absolutely.
I tweeted it out the other night.
I'm doing my show, bud.
We have 5 edits in the waiting. One just dropped. All right, and there's 4 right now left. That's not saying there'll be more added. So
okay,
keep calm, and carry on.
Zach, can you give us a little preview before you post it? Have you already posted the Howard edit?
We did post the Howard edit. Let me pull it up for us real quick.
I didn't know if you could give the fans a little preview. Maybe.
Yes, of course. I do have the Howard edit. Let's see if I can pull it up. We've got to add it in here. Here it is right here. All right. If y'all probably seen it on Twitter already, but boom, the Jackson Howard edit. Let's go.
I love it.
Let the show begin.
Let
the show begin. Let me bring down that
clean
comment.
edit. Clean edit.
Let the show begin. So, I mean, yeah, I'm pumped, bro. pumped, bro. Let's get to
a
couple of those
y'all,
comments.
My son is sitting right here, and he does not know how to keep his mouth closed, so I apologize.
All good.
He loves to talk. So,
Danny girl, exactly, Reagan. They were not committed to the previous staff either.
Yep. No doubt.
Al Landry also not sleeping on Deshaun Womack.
Bro, I'm telling you, Womack's a beast. Womack gives me Quincy Wiggins vibes.
I'm telling you, they're coming.
Yeah.
We also received a follow from another recruit recently.
Oh, yeah?
We received a follow from on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Oh, Danny girl. I've said it before. I'll say it again. When BK took us from 39 scholarship players to 84, everyone was raving. And just a couple months later, missed on a couple guys, and they are doubting him? Come on. I love that. I have to completely agree with Danny.
Come on, man.
Come on, man.
Have
you not realized what BK has done in this short amount of time? And we continue to forget that.
Yep.
He hasn't been at LSU that long. He hasn't even taken his first game.
He didn't take a snap.
They haven't even taken a snap under him.
One game. Chill. Good Lord.
calm down. I tell you, people are calling for his head already. It's ridiculous.
At least he ain't Billy Napier. You know.
It's true. That's true. Yeah, like aren't you glad
Actually calling for his head.
aren't you glad that you didn't hire Billy Napier? Al Landry said hashtag BK Purple Storm. Normal guy said hashtag BK Takeover. A storm just started. That's
Absolutely.
the first domino to fall. Guess what? July 4th's coming. July 4th's coming.
There's two commitments that have been crystal balled LSU on the 4th. Am I wrong on that? Womack.
Well, there's also one on the 3rd.
There you go.
There's also one on the 3rd. We've got
month of July is going to be good for the Tigers.
Month of July is going to be awesome for the Tigers. The end of June, kind of sucked a little bit, but let's not overreact. July is here. It is
Zach,
July the 1st.
Let's talk a little baseball. Jay
More good
Johnson.
news.
Jay Johnson. I'm hearing myself come back and feedback a little bit, Zach. I don't know if that's on your end or my end, but Jay Johnson goes out. I think. Sorry, I'm hearing myself a lot.
You're good. Just keep going.
Okay. Jay Johnson goes on Sunday, and the announcement that Wes Johnson, the pitching coach of the Minnesota Twins, is now the LSU Tigers pitching coach. Zach, how big is this? How
It's
big
massive.
is that?
You didn't go and steal an assistant or some lower tier coach out of the MLB. You went and got the exact position coach that you needed in the MLB, who has had SEC experience and who has put out MLB prospects in the SEC. It's massive. It's massive. And you also took him away from a program in the Twins that is doing really well right now.
Number one in the NL Central.
They're number one in the NL Central, and you go mid-season and pluck him away from an MLB team. It's massive. And guess what? He's not done. I think we ain't done yet.
The craziest thing to me, Zach, is we were like, okay, they're paying him, right? Because I think his pay over at the Twins was like $400K, something like that, maybe a little less, $380. And I'm thinking, okay, he's coming at like $7K, $700K. Like, they're paying him. Or at least $5. Bro, the terms were released and it was like $380. It's like he took the same money.
Yep.
And people are thinking, they're scratching their head. They're like, what you're not struggling. You're in the top half in the MLB. There's 30 teams. You're in the top half in ERA. Your team's in first place in your division. And you're not taking a chunk more. What? Why? Here's why I think, Zach. Here's what I think. Number one, I think he sees what Jay Johnson's building. That's the first thing.
Yeah.
Number two, the MLB season, it is relentless. 162 games, and probably out of 100 nights in a year, that man's sleeping in a hotel bed. Right? He's not. He's on planes. He's on buses. He's this, that, and the other. And I think a better quality of life being offered to him with what Jay Johnson is doing and the expectations that are coming with LSU baseball, I think a better quality of life in addition to what Jay Johnson is building is what was enough to put it together to bring him here. And honestly, Zach, for most people, that would be enough. For a major league pitching coach who's sitting at the first spot in their division, that typically would not be enough. But obviously, it's enough for Wes Johnson. I mean, absolutely massive haul. I am through the moon over that. That might be bigger than any player we got. I mean, seriously. That might just be that hire may be bigger than any player you just got. Honestly, that hire may have got you some players.
Yep.
I mean, let's be honest. The announcement was probably not the first time these pitchers that have been transferring in heard the name Wes Johnson, right?
Yeah.
Like, the deal may have been done. The deal may have been already done, and Jay could have used that to recruit Dylan Tebrake, who's here on the show tonight, Christian Little, and big-time commitment this past week, Zach. We'll talk about him now. Thatcher Hurd out of UCLA, potential number 1 overall pick prospect in the 2024 draft. Zach, that hire may have led to some of these decisions. Zach, Jay Johnson does it again, not only with the pitching coach, but with the players. 2 more big-time players. You bring in Carter Young, shortstop out of Vanderbilt. Great prospect, a lot of talent. And then you go haul in the big fish Thatcher Hurd. Zach, Jay Johnson indeed is the portal king. I don't care what else he does. With what he has brought in now currently, he is the portal king. Zach, talk to me about Carter Young, Thatcher. What do they bring to the table?
Well, they bring, again, 2 needs for this team. You needed arms. You needed defense. Carter Young is a great defensive player. I know you got the stats on that, so I'll let you share that here in a minute. And, of course, Thatcher Hurd is a dominant right-handed pitcher. He's an ace. LSU had to piece together a staff, and as we've said multiple times, they did not have a true weekend rotation. You had a guy that was throwing upper 80s as your main Friday night guy, and then you had a young sophomore that had to come on late to be your second guy. Yeah. And then you had kind of a mush of a bunch of guys playing in the starting role for Sunday with Bryce Collins, Sammy Dutton, and Grant Taylor. Yeah. You know, you had those kind of 3 guys for Sunday. So you had to go out and you had to get arms, but not only just arms, but you had to get Friday night guys. And they got them. Dylan Tebrake's coming on tonight. I'm excited to get to talk with him. Massive get for Jay Johnson to land the ace from Creighton, the ace from UCLA, one of a weekend rotation type guy in Christian Little, and they're not done. They're going to go get some lefties. And Hurston Waldrop, I know he seems to be a Florida lean.
Ooh.
But if you go get Hurston Waldrop, that's a massive gift. It's massive if you land Hurston Waldrop, who tore you up when you played him in the Hattiesburg Regional.
I mean, if Jay Johnson goes get Hurston Waldrop, oh my goodness, I would be elated. I don't know what I'd do. I would lose my mind just a little bit. But Hurston Waldrop, I mean, gave LSU some problems. And now I know we won that game, but we didn't win that game until after Hurston Waldrop had left the game, right? Yeah. Well, for the entire game, he dominated us in all reality. And that guy has Friday night stuff. I mean, he can be a Friday night starter at a lot of SEC schools, a lot. And I what it sounds like you said, sounds like a Florida lean, but guys, NIL speaks a lot to this day and age. Maybe Jay Johnson can go convince him. I don't know. Give him his pitch. Maybe there's some NIL money on the table.
They're definitely reaching out to him. No doubt.
There's no question he's been reached out already. He probably reached out to him the day he hit the portal. I think one of the biggest, probably maybe before. But I think one of the best things that Jay has done is got on the planes himself and gone and talked to these guys, and maybe he can do the same with Waldrop. But to talk about the 2 guys that have committed this past week, Like we said, Carter Young, he's more of a defensive guy. Now he did from last year, this year, his errors went up. He had 7 errors last year, 11 this year, 11 errors this year, and it's better than what you've had. Okay, and the 11 is kind of a like when you see it, you're like, but this guy's talent as a defender, I mean, from what I saw watching him at Vanderbilt, he's very swift and he's smooth. And I mean, again, some errors, the way it's ruled and whatnot, sometimes it's not fairly ruled. In my opinion, like I think there's some errors that were counted against Jordan Thompson that may have not, probably should have been accounted towards him. I mean, that's just sometimes the way it happens. You get accounted for that error. But anyways, the dude's a great defender, no doubt. Now, the bat is a little bit of a question. He batted .207 this year, .207. That has digressed from the previous year. So we'll see what Jay Johnson, has for this young man. But the talent, and he is a prospect that are on scouts' eyes, no doubt. He has the athleticism to be a great player. Zach, I think now what's crazy to think about is you now have 3 shortstops that have played in Power 5 schools, 2 of them at SEC schools.
Yep.
And they were the guys. They were the starters. And that can be your third short second. 3 different shortstops.
Correct.
Right? The premium spot in the infield, the shortstop, you now have 3 of them that all have Power 5 experience, 2 being SEC, and they were the starters that you can place at your second, third short, however you so choose, however Jay Johnson so chooses, and however it so pans out with them. That is what is so big to me about bringing in Carter Young, is you can now put a shortstop at all 3 positions in the infield with Trey Morgan at first base. I know there's discussions. I understand there are discussions about Tommy White playing first base, this, that, or the other. If Tommy White plays first base, I will trust Jay Johnson's decision, but I won't trade at first base. That's just my opinion.
I agree.
But Jay Johnson's the head coach. If he makes the decision, he knows better than I do. Obviously this is Trey's money year. Going out in the outfield and showing he can play in the outfield may be something that Trey is interested in, and scouts can go, okay, he's more than just a first baseman, right? Like he can do more. He's versatile. And that can mean a lot for Trey come next year when he's getting drafted. But again, I would rather him stay at first base. That's just my opinion. But the other 3 positions now you can play starting shortstops at all 3 of them. And that's huge. Thatcher Hurd. Now he's coming off an injury, and from all indications, he is okay. Like the staff has made it known, by the time season rolls around, he will be fine. So ERA this past year. Now he pitched in I think it's 9 games. Let me get that. Make sure I got that correct. 1, 2, 3. Yes, 9 games. He had a 1.06 ERA. 1.06 ERA. And in 9 games, Zach, 34 innings pitched, he struck out 48.
It's crazy.
Thatcher Hurd is good. Thatcher Hurd is really good. He is a type of guy that can come in here and be your Friday night guy. Like, for real. And there are some people that have Thatcher as their number 1 overall pick for the 2024 draft. And honestly, based on what I've seen, some of the highlights I've gone and looked at, like, there's reason to believe that is a potential. So the numbers are good. This injury, from all things I've heard, he's going to be just fine. He'll be ready to roll come season. And, dude, Jay Johnson continues to build the hype and build a roster and a staff that is quite – what's the word? it is impressive. Is probably the word.
Well,
it's impressive. It's intimidating. That's what I was trying to get out. It's intimidating the other teams.
I mentioned this to my buddy the other day, Austin Lewis. We call him Louie. He's an Arkansas fan, but Arkansas always have a really good program. But it is very evident that Jay Johnson is hitting the transfer portal, and they want a national championship. It is going to be Dylan Cruz and Trey Morgan's last year. It's going to be their last year. And they have hit the portal hard, and they have hit it and gotten guys at the most important needs for this team. They're going after a national championship. They want to get to Omaha. He's made that known, and he's done a fantastic job of hitting the transfer portal and recruiting guys that they need the most. And so I'm excited. I'm excited to see all these arms. So I'm looking forward to it, Reagan.
Yeah, I mean, where you sit right now with these guys that are committed, come next season, if this is where we end it, no more portal transfers came in, there's going to be some polls with LSU number one. Going to be. Now, if you go out and land a few more arms, like if you go land like the dude from Stanford, I think it's Alex Taylor, or Hurston Waldrop, like you're going to be preseason number one. Like, for real. D1 baseball, does their way too early, the 8 teams in Omaha next year. Every single one of them had LSU in Omaha. Every single one. I mean, this is that's speaking to what Jay Johnson is doing. He's building a powerhouse with this lineup. 1 through 9 is going to be scary. And guess what? You got Thatcher Hurd, Dylan Tebrake, Christian Little coming in. You got Ty Floyd on the staff already. Like, it's going to be scary. Like, look out. All of NCAA baseball. LSU ain't playing no freaking games next year. We're tired of watching other SEC teams hold the trophy up. We want our own, right?
Yeah.
Like, we want to add to the intimidator. We're tired of watching it. So, by all means, keep doing it. Keep hitting the portal. Keep doing what you're doing, Jay. We're loving every minute of it. Zach, I think we need to hit a quick break. Bring Dylan in here. Ask him some questions, guys. Tell me TA. Ask Dylan. All of those things. Y'all start firing them in. We're going to hit a quick break. But we're going to ask Dylan, obviously, our own questions. We want y'all to ask questions and interact as well. So y'all start throwing those questions in so we can hit those up with him as we bring him in. All right, let's hit a quick break, and we'll see you right after this. 5-Star Hero, your intro and outro music for the Tigers Avenue show. They ain't ready for that LSU. Go check out all his other music on all the major platforms. Don't forget to follow him on Instagram at Saints Anthem and at Twitter at One Nation Doty. Don't forget to check out his Facebook page for all his Saints and LSU merchandise. 5-Star Hero. Can't get any better than Sarah Klein Stevens, attorney at law. Her firm focuses on the needs of the elderly and maintaining their dignity throughout the process. Here for you, here for your family. Sarah Klein Stevens, attorney at law. All right. What's up, Dylan?
How we doing?
Great, man. We're so glad to have you on the show. We appreciate you taking the time out of your day to do this, man. How you feeling?
Feeling good. Repping my LSU Tigers.
Hey, there we go.
There you go. Already got it on, man. So, Dylan, obviously, we want to ask you some questions. Our people here in the comment section, we're going to have them throw in some questions as well. But we appreciate you taking this time. I want to recap just a little bit, Dylan. This past season with Creighton, you had a fantastic year. I mean, past 2 seasons, you're Big East Pitcher of the Year 2 years in a row. This past season, you're 8-2, got a 2.81 ERA, 93 innings pitched, and 115 strikeouts. Dylan, can you tell us what this past season, what you've been doing? I mean, is this years of hard work, or did you just catch fire in your arm? I mean, what you've been doing up there in Creighton?
No, for sure. So last year I was a draft-eligible sophomore.
Yeah.
Had a good spring, but the draft didn't work out or anything, and I guess I just had like one of two options to kind of like wallow in self-pity or use it as motivation and kind of make this year like a revenge tour. And I feel like I proved a lot of people wrong this spring. And no, I had a blast doing it. I love my time here. Obviously, team-wise, I wish we would have done a little better, but that's how the ball rolls sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Dylan, you at Creighton, you are at the biggest stop in college baseball. I mean, you're in Omaha, Nebraska. And, you know, obviously LSU, they want to get there. They want to get to Omaha. They want to host that title, that College World Series trophy. What went into the process, the decision to make the move from Creighton and make the jump to LSU?
You know, like I weighed my options when I entered the portal and just felt like LSU needed the most like pitching depth, pitching help. That was part of it. Really like what Jay Johnson's doing, and Jason Kelly at the time, who's obviously not here, but I'm actually from Minnesota. So hearing getting wind of the hiring of Wes Johnson actually made me ecstatic. So.
Yeah, I mean that was my question. Did you know any about Wes Johnson ahead of time, or was that news to you when it was announced? What does that do for you as a pitcher when you see that caliber of a coach coming in from? I mean, literally, he's a major league pitcher, and I mean that also helps you out when it comes to. I mean, when you're getting ready to get drafted, you know he knows what it takes, right? So what does that do for your confidence coming into LSU now, knowing that Wes Johnson's going to be here to be your coach?
For sure. It's something that I've talked to Coach Jay Johnson about. Is just like Wes is going to get anything out of me that I haven't gotten out of myself already. So he's going to help me to not leave any stone unturned in my development, whether that's like adding a new pitch, adding velocity, whatever the case might be.
Absolutely.
Dylan, to follow up that question, do you feel like you haven't hit your ceiling yet?
Absolutely not.
That's awesome.
Wow,
Another quick question for you, Dylan. Obviously, you've made the commitment. Have you been able to talk with any of the current players, get to know them some, you know, form some relationships?
I haven't really, no. I've been super busy with, like, pre-draft stuff and all of that nature, but, like, just seeing some of them, like, via social media and stuff and connecting that way, I guess, is about all I've done.
Gotcha. So, LSU obviously is historically a huge baseball program. Obviously, I mean, when it comes to pitching, your mind kind of goes to guys like Ben McDonald. You know, me and Zach's age, we also think of guys like Alex Lang, Aaron Nola, so Kevin Gosman. You know, is there any guys in Jared Poche? Yes. So, is there any guys, pitchers, players that you grew up maybe watching at LSU? Any guys that you kind of like? Wow, I get to go play where they played at now.
You know, a little bit. I've always been a college baseball fan since I've been like in high school. So the last 6-7 years. So like the likes of like Alex Bregman and Kevin Gosman, like they're all familiar names, and knowing that they played down in Baton Rouge.
Yeah. I think Al Landry actually has a question for Dylan. If you'll pop that up there, one of our fans here, Al Landry, got a question for you. He says, Dylan, what was the first conversation with Jay like?
Oh man, it was probably 20 to 30 minutes after I entered the portal. All in on getting me down there and just describing kind of what it's like down in Baton Rouge, like playing baseball. Obviously, words can only do so much justice, but no, he seems like a great guy, great coach, and obviously he's all in on making this thing happen this year.
Absolutely. Zach, you got anything for him?
So, Dylan, I mean, man, they're getting a lot of guys in. How much of that and knowing that you're coming into now that y'all, you know who y'all have got and like the likelihood of y'all getting more pitchers in the bullpen, you know, how much does that mean to you knowing that you get to go there and you get to compete a little bit for a weekend rotation?
No, for sure. It's exciting. It seems like almost every day that not even just a pitcher, but just a new player like the likes of like All-American caliber are committing to LSU. So
Yes.
every time I see that, it makes me more and more excited to be able to compete against the best.
So
I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Yeah.
They're getting studs left and right.
and I mean, just speaking from not even an LSU perspective, but an SEC perspective. I mean, yes, you're competing with the best. I mean, as we've seen the past, 3 out of 4 years, Vanderbilt won, Ole Miss now won, State won last year. So yeah, you're competing with the best of the best. Dylan, you're bringing. We've been bringing guys in, as Zach was saying. You're seeing guys like Thatcher Hurd, Christian Little's coming in. I mean, there's a lot of big names coming in to the portal still. Guys like Hurston Waldrop that LSU fans are kind of drooling at the mouth over. Honestly, Dylan, personally, I think that you're a little underrated. Honestly, like people are freaking out over Thatcher, Christian Little. You were the first guy out of the portal to be, to come into LSU. You were the number one guy. And so now all these other names are popping up. And honestly, personally, I think that you're kind of underrated when it comes to this now transfer portal that's coming in because of the, guys like Christian Little's coming from a team like Vanderbilt. Thatcher Hurd's coming from UCLA, out in LA. What is that for you personally? Does that give you any kind of motivation to come in here and kind of prove yourself? Which honestly, when I saw you were announced, I went and looked your stats up and I was like, holy smokes, this dude won Big East Pitcher of the Year 2 years in a row, 93 innings pitched, 115 strikeouts. This guy may be the biggest name we get. Like, he may come out here and perform. But what does that mean for you?
No, for sure. I mean, obviously, being at Creighton, we're a mid-major, so I feel like that has something to do with it. But it's not anything that I haven't dealt with my whole career, honestly. It's just being kind of overlooked, underrated. I'm from a super small town, so I was always told, like, what I can and can't do. But, no, I love it. It fuels me, and it's something I use to drive my everyday work.
Absolutely. So, Dylan, again, we appreciate you joining in and answering our questions. I got one more question for you. I don't know if Zach maybe has a follow-up question or not, but so obviously baseball, it's your thing. Zeke, hush. Sorry, my son's sitting right here next to me. Obviously baseball is your thing, right? I mean, you're coming to LSU. What is one thing outside of baseball, to get maybe a little bit more personal outside of baseball that you love to do? What's a hobby, a thing you like to do outside of baseball?
As of late, I've actually, me and my girlfriend have got into hiking a little bit.
Yeah.
So it's a super incredible, mental getaway. So I think that's it.
Well, I know some good hiking spots. Me and my wife actually were in Pocahontas, Arkansas, in this place called Shady River Getaway. So if you ever want to go to Shady River Getaway, they got some great hiking spots. And I know Zach knows some spots in Conway, Arkansas, too. What is it called? Pinnacle Mountain?
Pinnacle Mountain, and Pigeon. No, there's two of them over there that are really good hiking spots. Two mountains.
Yeah. Hiking. A little different. Last night Pineda told us golfing. Honestly, I cannot put up with golfing. Golfing would make me really frustrated and angry. So for you, hiking, I feel like that's a little bit more my route, because I can kind of take a hike, enjoy the nature around me, God's creation, and be a little bit more at peace. So Dylan, we're just boys from Arkansas and Mississippi. Is it Tebrake? How do you pronounce the last name?
I mean, it gets butchered all the time, so don't do that, but it's Tebrake.
Okay, Tebrake.
Tebrake.
Yes.
Wow. I would have never guessed that. I think Al has one more question, and then we'll let you go. What you say, Zach?
Well, I was about to say, you're going to Louisiana, so it's going to be Tebrake. That's what it's going to be. You got to put the EAU in there somewhere. So that's probably how it'll get pronounced some in Louisiana. Al Landry said, "What about fishing? Are you into fishing, Dylan?"
So I actually grew up on a lake, but never really got into fishing. I was more so into water sports and stuff like that on the lake.
Gotcha.
That's awesome. Then I got one more question for you, and then we'll probably let you go. You're not at LSU right now. You said you've been, kind of getting ready pre-draft stuff for the summer. What's the timetable for that? I mean, obviously, I'm sure you're extremely excited to get there and to get to work. What's the timetable for you in getting to Baton Rouge?
So obviously, draft is in about 2 weeks here. Gonna weigh my options there, see what happens, and then it'll be a quick turnaround. If that doesn't work out, then I'll be down in Baton Rouge almost immediately.
Awesome. We're looking forward to it, man.
Absolutely. Hey, Dylan, again, we appreciate you joining in, taking your time. If you would give your Twitter handle, Instagram handle, whatever it may be, all these LSU fans, I'm sure they'd love to go follow you.
Yes. Do you want me to type it in here?
Go
or
for
just
it.
say it. Just say it out loud.
Either way.
Either way.
I'll type it in here since I don't know if anyone knows how to spell my name.
Oh, okay. Well, it's just at Dylan Tebrake. Cool deal.
There you go.
Tebrake. Oh my gosh, I butchered it. Man, brutal. He just told me. Dylan Tebrake. Hey, we appreciate you joining in, man, answering all our questions. It's been fantastic. Look, we're really looking forward to what you do as a Tiger, and of course, best of luck in the draft, man. Thanks for joining in.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Have a good one.
Take care, guys.
All right, Zach. So, again, another great prospect. Obviously, spoke with Jake Pineda last week. Great interview. And, of course, Dylan, another great interview as well. Zach, what do you take away from Mr. Dylan?
Oh, dude, I'm excited. I have to agree with you. I think he's underrated, and I think probably a large part of that just has to do with, like you said, he was one of the first to commit, and so now you've heard these other names and from bigger programs. But I do want to say, and I've said this before, and I know AD will probably watch this. He'll agree with me. Baseball, when it comes to baseball, I think they have the least margin of error. The difference between Power 5 and Group of 5 is completely different than college football, college basketball. College basketball has that a little bit, but I think in baseball it's even more so. Like Group of 5, Power 5, they're right there together.
No doubt.
Creighton's a mid-major, but mid-major teams dominate in college baseball, and they go to the World Series. So. We don't need
Carolina?
to take, Stony Brook, LSU fans remember Stony Brook? Yeah. So we don't need to take that lightly. Dylan is going to be a phenomenal pitcher.
Absolutely.
And he is a phenomenal pitcher.
And his numbers, numbers don't lie, right?
Correct.
All right, let's hit a quick break, Zach, and then we'll come back and wrap this show up. Make sure you go follow us on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook, all at Tigers Avenue, for daily updates on the show and all things LSU sports. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure to click off and hit that subscribe button at Tigers Avenue. We broadcast all of our shows live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. All right, guys. Once again, we appreciate all y'all joining in, interacting here in the Tigers Avenue. What a great interview from Dylan Tebrake. Appreciate him joining in. I got it right now, guys. I'll never forget it again. Never. Can't believe I butchered it. Right when he told me. Said Tebrake. Tebrake. All right, guys. We'll be right back here again next Friday night. Y'all stay tuned. Baseball's not done, and football's going to really have a hot July month for recruiting. So we're excited about everything that's going on for LSU in the realm of recruiting. We'll catch you next time in the Tigers Avenue. 5-Star Hero, take us out. Peace.
Who that 5-star? Who that 5-star? And the LSU